good hello,
Hi
and
there.
welcome back to another episode of Film Focus with me, Fred Black.
Anthony Squire.
Yes, and this week we're doing another one of our triple bills.
I wish it hadn't been a triple bill.
Well, no, to be honest, we actually added one of these films in ourselves, and it's a DVD release like we used to do.
Yeah. Curse of Chucky.
Curse of Chucky was the one we added in ourselves. So even if this had been a double bill like we would usually done, if Curse of Chucky had been released next week, we still would have had seen this other film. But yes, we got a copy of Curse of Chucky and we wanted to watch it really desperately.
Yeah.
So we decided.
I know it's not saying much, but it is much better. It's much better than Seed of Chucky.
But I think we're going to go in a different order of the films. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves there.
Oh yeah.
But
How
yes,
I live now.
But we're going to start with. Hands down, we've literally just come from the cinema saying this to record this episode. We had to get it done now. This is How I Live Now. I'm going to take a large drink of this. Cheers, by the way. Oh my god,
It should have been called How Could We Have Made a Film So Bad?
It probably should have been the title of this film.
Yeah.
How could we make something so bad?
Bad. You got incest and a nuclear war.
Let's just stop right there,
just...
because like the trailer has. We've seen the trailer of this for quite a few weeks now.
Yeah.
Leading up to this film, and it's about Saoirse Ronan. I keep saying Roman. It's Saoirse Ronan, who goes to London or some remote countryside village to live with three of her cousins and a family friend of theirs.
Yeah.
A family friend of hers. And in the midst of this, World War III breaks out. Literally, like a nuclear bomb of sorts, or what's rumoured to be a nuclear bomb, hits London. There's all sorts of other attacks going on across mainland Europe. World War III happens, and this whole group of cousins and everything is split up, and they have to get back to this farm where they know each other, where they met, and they had a great summer together.
Yeah.
As you've already mentioned it, the main problem we both have with this film. Incest is not okay.
But it was completely overlooked. It really was.
Oh my god! How
two
did
cousins making out with each other, and I'm just thinking.
No, they did more. They did more than make out with each other. Actually, maybe you closed your eyes to that portion of the film.
they had sex.
Yeah, essentially, like Saoirse Ronan and the eldest cousin, whose character named Edmund, essentially end up having a relationship together, and that's the main reason that they're so desperate to get back to the farm is to see Edmund and. It's not okay. It's so creepy. It's so wrong. On some levels, it's even worse than what Twilight does. But you know, that is saying something from me.
Yeah.
But that is like the biggest, like main overriding point of this film is that every time she talks about Edmund, you think, I have to get back, I have to see Edmund, there is a big neon light in my head.
She's meant to be 16, but she's blatantly in her early 20s.
Well, yeah, I think she's just slightly younger than me, or like she's like in her mid-20s, like early 20s, definitely. But yeah, like playing characters like younger than themselves is not how. I mean, what we had last week, we had Runner, Justin Timberlake playing a college student.
He did a much better job.
Yes, he was much more convincing.
And I never thought I'd ever say that about Justin Timberlake, but...
But then you've got, like... Oh, my God. So this film kind of starts off with this relationship blossoming, I guess. And then the entire audience laughing their asses off.
Yeah. People are even shouting out various things.
Yeah. I mean, we fucking noticed this bit where they're not liking each other just yet, and Edmund goes into this field full of cows, and Saoirse Ronan doesn't want to go into the field of cows for some reason.
She's got some kind of... She's scared of cows or something, and it's never really
explained. So he talks to the fucking things. He essentially becomes Dr. Dolittle, and just makes them move away. Yeah.
They're all moving away.
And they're all out the fucking field. And then... Well, then the film kind of divulges into the romance, and then World War III hits. You don't really know why. You don't really know what's caused it, and I get the feeling it explains it a lot more in the book because the mother of this, that she seems to be involved in it somehow. She seems.
I don't. It's never really explained. She's watching the news, and then suddenly, oh hey there, and then
she's looking
That's
over
it.
these charts of like projected death toll across, the European. Yeah, no, seriously, that was the title of like the spreadsheet she's looking at, like projected death toll across Eastern Europe or something like
This
that.
film, it's like it's trying to be Mad Max 2, with a hint of Fallout 3. It's bollocks, but
but then it's like, well, for me it was like, as it goes on, I thought as it went on, if you put the incest to one side, which is very hard to do with it, that just rears its head in the film.
most dreams she keeps having about him, it's just...
But it does get better. There are some quite effective scenes of like them running across the countryside away from people. There's a bit of a tense encounter where some people try and kidnap the little girl she's with.
Yeah, that's only 1 or 2 scenes. That doesn't justify the
Again,
other hour and half, the other hour, 1 hour and
like
20,
minutes.
30 minutes. The pace of the film is just rubbish. 1 minute, the girl is complaining, to stop moaning, we've been walking all this time. Yeah. And then just like that, if I could click my fingers, just like that, suddenly it's the next day. She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and there's no actual resolution to the conflict. It's just like, "Oh, I forgive you now," without actually having this forgiving conversation. How does this film get released? I mean, who on earth thought, "Oh, I know, let's release this film"?
Someone in Hollywood with too much money thought, "Let's release this film."
Some twat.
Some twat in Hollywood, yeah.
This film was total and utter pants. I gave it 1 out of 10.
I was generous and gave it 2. It's lucky it got that because there was some like redeeming features towards the end with some like saving scenes. But again, there was the whole like not explaining the conflict at all. Who were like this major world war that happened in the background, and it happened in the background. Like, you get a few bits where they encounter attackers and random people that have been, like, turned by, their primal side comes out during the war, people show their true colours, and all this other shit that war films have spewed beforehand.
This film did not know what it wanted to be.
Yeah, exactly.
1 minute it was romantic, suddenly it was post-apocalyptic, thriller, and then it just kept jumping and jumping and jumping.
Definitely, like...
It just... Why?
And it's the most vivid film in our memory. That's probably why we could say so much about it, because, oh my god, like, I think, thankfully, it's on its way out of the cinema. We managed to catch it quite late.
I can understand why the Odeon stopped playing it.
Yeah, it's not playing at the Odeon anymore. We could went to see it at Cineworld. Cinema placement. But yes...
Throwing the advert.
Throwing the advert. There should be like a little banner, sponsored by Cineworld. I might edit that in just for hell. No, but like, because I think the staff were having a bit of a laugh at us as well when we came out thinking that was absolute bollocks. We were laughing our asses off coming out of that film, and like I think the guys at the cinema knew that it was pants.
Yeah, they had that. Like when you walk through the doors, you can see them looking at you. They sort of look in the eyes of, oh yeah.
Yeah, did they enjoy it? And we were just going. I think we actually did say that was complete bollocks. Like,
how did this even get released?
I'm not sure how people could actually enjoy it. It's been getting like mediocre reviews across the board as well. Like, hot, like 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, something like that. Yeah, like Empire gave it 3 out of 5. Bad Empire. I don't understand how this film got successful. It's absolutely terrible. I mean, yeah, it's kind of well acted.
No, it's not.
Saoirse Ronan is watchable. Let's be honest. Saoirse Ronan.
You don't really like her character.
No, her character does come across as a bit of a bitch.
I mean, to begin with, you have no sympathy for her.
But again, it's not explained why she's like that. Yeah, she hates her dad.
And then you find out her
mum. Yeah, you find out all about her mum and everything. But it seems like she's got some sort of mental disability or something.
That's just it. She has to take this. She has to keep taking this medication. And for half the film, she doesn't take it, but hey, things are okay.
Yeah, she has to take this medication. She has this obsession about washing her hands, which leads me to believe she might have OCD or something like that, but I don't know, because it's never explained to anyone. Not even Edmund, the guy she's meant to be in love with. She doesn't even tell him about anything.
Her cousin.
Her cousin, yeah. Okay. And it just keeps coming back, doesn't it?
This film was PANTS.
I'll just say it in a more colourful way. This film was god-fucking awful. God-fucking awful.
Pants.
2 out of 10 from me, and it's lucky it's getting that. So let's move on to something a bit nicer, shall we?
Filth?
Are you describing how I live now, or you want to go on to the next film? I'm not sure. Yes, let's go on to Filth.
Based on the book by Irvin Welsh.
Yeah, the same guy who wrote Trainspotting. Unfortunately, not directed by Danny Boyle. This film adaptation. It's about James McAvoy, who's a corrupt cop. Bruce Robertson, who takes coke. He upholds the law in the worst way possible through bribery and sex scandals and all this sorts of stuff.
As the film goes on,
His
I think
world,
you're meant to have more sympathy for him, but I just didn't.
Yeah. And as he's as things begin more complicated for him, following the murder of this Japanese student, and he gets assigned to this case. But as the case goes on, he gets worse mentally and physically, and his world kind of unravels around him in this kind.
I thought the ending. It was.
Well,
I won't ruin it.
Skip to the end, ladies and gentlemen.
I won't ruin it, but the ending, it was really good.
It was pinpoint accurate, was it? Pinpoint what.
The way it just jumps from one sort of feeling to mega happy.
Well, see, I was a big fan of Trainspotting. I wasn't expecting what I got. I think we touched on this last week as well when I was hyping Filth up.
Because I was a little concerned you were just going to overhype it.
And rightly so. I mean, I overhyped Riddick to within an inch of its life, and I was, albeit I liked the film, I really did like it, but I was disappointed at the same time because it could have been so much more.
Yes.
But with Filth, I didn't hype it up enough. I didn't hype this film up enough.
The pace of the film is good.
I really fucking
enjoyed
it.
Yeah, the characters were really well done, to be honest, all of them.
Yes, even you have these sort of minor you've got Jim Broadbent, who appears as his doctor, and he's in the film a bare minimum.
Yeah, but for a couple of scenes...
Is it Jim Broadbent, is it? I think it might be, yeah. But, again, he's really well defined, he's kind of this kind of hallucinogenic doctor, but he's obviously in real life as well. It's so weird. And the thing is, if you go into it with the mindset of Trainspotting was fucked up, and there will be some messed up imagery in there. There'll be some messed up things that happen.
There's some powerful scenes in this film.
Yeah,
well, actually, there's a few powerful scenes.
There were lots of powerful scenes in this film for me. I mean, there are just so many kind of just different emotions that it takes you. It's really a really kick-ass roller coaster ride.
I didn't think it was as good as Trainspotting, but it was still a good film.
I will say that as well. Yeah, I'll say that as well.
Good soundtrack, like I said, good pace of the film. It was a good story.
Yeah,
I give it 7.
I gave it a full-on 10 out of 10. I gave it full-on 10 out of 10. And I would give Trainspotting the same thing if people would think, oh, well, you think Trainspotting's better than it. I can still give films the same score and think one is slightly better than the other.
Yeah, because
I make the scores up, damn it! But yeah.
Moving on.
No, but yeah, Filth... there are certain bits in it where you can feel super scared. I jumped out of my seat more than one time during this film, with the come downs he has off the coke.
They were powerful. I didn't jump in my seat.
Well, I mean, I do get scared really easily, and
can't you get a 6?
We're not fucking machines, all right? It doesn't work like that. Yeah, but I was expecting messed up. I was expecting messed up and completely outrageous dark comedy like I got in Trainspotting, but not to this kind of level. I think it was a much darker film than Trainspotting in some ways. So
it was much darker.
With I know certain scenes in Trainspotting are kind of pitch black dark.
Just baby on the ceiling.
I just absolutely kind of terrifying. But there are some scenes in Filth where you're just this has gone on to a different fucking level. Especially when there's a big reveal, which we won't say anything about, but there is a big reveal halfway through the film.
It's kind of the main character. The main character is someone you're meant to have sympathy for, but all throughout the film, you just naturally don't.
You question whether you should.
Yeah,
really. It's Riddick is an anti-hero. In the original Pitch Black, Riddick is an anti-hero, isn't he?
Pitch Black was nowhere near as good as this.
No. I'm talking about in kind of terms of anti-heroes.
Oh,
like Riddick is like an anti-hero because you don't want. He is the bad guy. He's a cold-blooded murderer. He's a psychopath. He's sinister to the core. But at the end of the day, you root for him because he's saving the day.
No, I'd see where you're coming from.
And the thing is, like, throughout this film, like, you're kind of rooting for James McAvoy, but at the same time, you kind of question whether you should or not.
There's a couple of scenes, like, who's that guy who goes to Germany with? Where you want him to come good in the end.
Yeah, there's... it's such a kind of complex film, and there are so many different layers to it in the storytelling. Again,
we're not trying to make it sound pointlessly complicated. It just is.
It just is, and like, it is by far and away for me one of the best films of the year. Definitely, it's definitely going to make it into my top 5 without a shadow of a doubt.
It was a good film. I wouldn't put it down as one of the best films of the year.
No, see, I give it 10 out of 10. Definitely going to be, and it's the first film this year for me to get 10 out of 10. So there's going to have to be something pretty fucking spectacular from the films we've got to watch from like the first half of the year, and the films that have got to come up in the next 2.5 months or something. There's going to have to be something pretty spectacular to beat this.
Moving on to the next film.
Yes, and our final
Curse
film.
of Chucky.
Yes, Chucky 6. We figured this out, didn't we? We've got Child's Play 1, 2, 3, Bride, Seed, and Curse of Chucky.
The basic plot of the film is you've got Child's Play 1, 2, 3. This one is set after number 3. It's like Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky didn't happen, and to be honest, Seed of Chucky...
I would disagree with you. No, I think no. That we can't ruin anything, but certain things that happen in the film, they are acknowledging that Bride and Seed did happen. Or at least maybe not Seed, but Bride definitely happened.
Yeah, but plot-wise, Jennifer...
Yeah.
Tilly?
Yeah.
She became a doll in Bride.
Is she in number 3? Is she in Child's Play 3?
No.
So they do acknowledge that Bride... Okay, we'll just go move on. They do acknowledge that Bride...
Turn all that stuff to one side. This is the best Child's Play film since number 3. It was like a back to basics.
Now, see, you've seen... I've only seen Bride and Seed. I kind of enjoyed it at the fun stage of Chucky's films.
Chucky 1...
And I've seen Child's Play 2 as well. You showed me Child's Play 2, didn't you?
Number 2 was really good. To be honest, that's my favourite one.
But I've not seen 1 or 3, so I can't say I'm like a Child's Play connoisseur. I don't know the whole kind of story of Chucky.
I mean, but if you watch this film, wait to the end of the end credits, and the guy who played Andy in Child's Play 1 and 2, I can't remember his name.
But he's back.
He's back just for 5 minutes, if that.
But yeah, like the plot of Curse of Chucky is Chucky gets himself delivered somehow. He turns up at this girl Micah's house. Micah being a paralysed... She's paralysed essentially. She's been looked after by her mother, and she has to whirl around everything in a wheelchair. When her mother mysteriously dies
after getting Chucky,
after the Chucky doll arrives, and various people come round to the house, try to console her and everything. Various people start dying or getting hurt in weird ways, and Micah starts to suspect the doll is in on it somehow, which of course he is. He's Chucky.
It was really good. It was like a back to basics of Child's Play 1 and 2.
Like, the thing is, we touched upon this, like the trailer. Like, we looked at the trailer ages. I can't remember when we did, but we looked at it like right near the start of when we started the show up again. And it looked terrifying. We were both saying it looked really scary.
This film is quite scary.
And I will give you that. It is very scary.
It's a perfect setting for it. The house, the storm.
And the doll effects.
Yeah.
Like, the way the doll looks for most of this film, like, that just adds to it. And it's Don Mancini, I think, is just a bastard for making him look like that. Because up until a certain point, this film is terrifying. After a certain point, and there's a certain plot point in the film which makes the film more
silly.
It makes it more silly, but it makes it more like the previous films. It makes it more like Bride or Seed. Kind of.
But it's miles better than those two.
Yeah, but up until that point, it's terrifying. Like, literally, the kind of misdirection and it's a like kind of good, yeah, like you said, a good throwback to kind of 80s horror and kind of classic horror films.
It was easily on up to that point. It was on a par with Child's Play 1 and 2.
Well, see, I was like, having not seen 1, I've seen 2, and you showed me 2 and watched it around here, and it was very good. But yeah, like, I wasn't expecting it to be that scary. I was expecting more along the lines of Bridal Seed. I wasn't expecting.
I mean, Child's Play 3 was
that's just sleight of hand, kind of that kind of tense, no music at all. That's what gets me in horror films. There was no music.
That was brilliant, but
it was it. Yeah,
it's really well
but
done.
the thing is, like, whenever you hear, like, in horror films, you hear that the high pitched violin. You got the Jaws theme going through your head. When you got like high pitched violin that kind of indicates something scary is about to happen, then you have this big like kind of orchestral crash. It goes.
The best one is when it goes stone cold quiet because you're expecting something, but you just don't know when it's going to happen.
Yeah, and that's kind of. Again, we go back to my love of handheld horrors. That's why I like it. I like them because you can't have music in something that's meant to be a documentary. But anyway, but I like it even better when real films, like like this Chucky film does it. It has no music. It just has the silence. It has the sound effects from around what's happening around them.
I mean,
it makes you more immersed in the experience.
I mean, I love those 5 minutes after the end credits when the character Andy, makes the cameo. That's got nothing
We're not spoiling it.
That's got nothing to do with the main story, though. That is just it's like an add-on scene.
Yeah, but
it doesn't
even
really affect the main story.
But now if you reveal any more about that scene, it kind of will. I won't have to shoot this entire fucking episode again. I'm not doing that shit.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on from that. But yeah, like Curse of Chucky, I only gave it a 6 because like up until that point, up until like the key point, it was really scary. But then after that, I mean, there's some dodgy special effects. There's some. It's just
come on. That's what makes horror films. They have a dodgy special effects.
No, well,
when you can see
your B-movie horror films, yes. But for someone who's actually expecting a big proper horror film, which up until that point it was. Come on,
for you Chucky fans out there, if you're looking for a good Chucky film, this is it. It's back to basics. It's really well done, good directed, good pace, good background music, and yeah,
there is any.
The overall story, yeah, it had me jumping at various points in it.
Wow, I didn't know you jumped at horror films, Anthony.
Yeah,
we've never actually watched like a proper. I mean, Child's Play 2 could be considered, but we've never actually watched like a proper horror film together. So,
you say handheld stuff. I remember when what was that film that came out in '99 that started it all?
Blair Witch.
I was feeling sick near the end of that film because the camera kept shaking so much.
Blair Witch Project isn't more about the jump scares, though. There are handheld horror films that are about the jump out your seat moments. Blair Witch is about more of the tension, which, again, it still doesn't have. I'm not a fan of Blair Witch.
No, Blair Witch was basically the camera continued shaking, and yeah, me and my mate went to see it. We felt kind of sick after that.
But yes, anyway, oh my god, we spent like we like. I'm looking at the timer down there. Is that actually? It is going, isn't it?
It's about 24 minutes and 3 seconds.
But yeah, we kind of spent ages like ranting at How I Live Now, and then like skimmed over the last 2 films.
Please, if you're even thinking about seeing that film or buying it, don't.
Yeah, don't. I mean, what did you give Curse of Chucky? Like
8.
8 out of 10, right? I only gave it a 6. It was just up to that point, it was. Filth for me is the film of the week.
Chucky for me is the film of the week.
Filth was just pure brilliance. I loved every minute of it.
It was alright.
And we are going to continue drinking more of these to forget How I Live Now, because it is the biggest
I'm
piece of
myself, but please don't waste your money.
No, really. Like, I mean, I know most of the people that watch this might have actually wasted their money already because we could only see these films in so much time.
You said it even when walking out the cinema. And the people who worked there, where they were looking at us like,
yeah, they're like, we know this is shit. I would like to like know what it's like to work in a cinema just to see like, do you get to watch all these films that come out? Do like they hold a special screening for the staff or something like?
Man, they get to see them for free.
They probably, or if they get to work in the projection booth and stuff, they probably would. Although you get sick of screening the same film like 5 times a day, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah. Anyway, we'll stop going on, but please don't Don't go see it. How I Live Now.
Curse of Chucky, by the way, not out in the cinemas. It is out on DVD now, I think. We got our hands on like a copy of it. But yeah, that was just through pure luck. But I think it's out on DVD and Blu-ray now. And again, if you're a Chucky fan, then yeah, I agree with Anthony. If you're a Chucky fan, it's a back to basics. It's a worthy addition to the series. Yeah.
Bride of Chucky was okay. Seed of Chucky was pants. This one, it's back on a par with 1, 2, and 3.
Fair enough. And Filth, I would definitely, if you can find Filth at cinema now, it's got back up to a kind of regular running schedule now. The weekend, for some reason, it just died. Pardon me. And then now it's got back onto itself. So if you can see Filth, then go and see Filth, because it's one of the most unique films I've seen at the cinema this year, definitely.
Unique?
Yeah, definitely. Like, in terms of, like, you know, safe plot points and, you know, like, all this kind of, you know, bog standard plot format.
The most unique film I've seen this year was Sharknado.
Oh, well, yeah, but...
I know, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Anyway,
on that note, we go to forget how I give now. How I give now.
Take care.
See you later, guys. Bye. Oh,